When you live in a very car-dependent society, it might be hard to imagine, but you can live without owning a car. I've done so for almost my entire life. I did learn to drive back in 1984 in this very car, but I only ever owned a car briefly when I was just turning 20. I had it for exactly 4 months. After that, I never felt the urge to own one again. It simply wasn't for me. If the windows were iced over, I cycled to work, rather that than spending time scraping those windows clear. That doesn't mean I'm anti-car. I still drive, but only when there's no viable alternative. I chose to live in a city centre. Most of my daily destinations are within walking distance. The supermarket, the pharmacy, and just about anything else I might need. For destinations over about 1 kilometer, I take the bicycle to the local hospital, the family doctor, the dentist, a cinema, or the swimming pool. What some people now call 15-minute cities, that has simply been normal in the Netherlands for a very long time. But how do I get to all the other places where I film? The best option in the Netherlands is the train and bike combination. I deliberately chose to live within walking distance of an intercity railway station. When I travel to Utrecht, I use my own bicycle there. It lives in the world's largest bicycle parking garage at Utrecht Central Station. So after arriving by train, I take that bike to wherever I need to go. Work, appointments, family visits, everything. In other towns and cities, there's the public transport bicycle, OV-fiets. These rental bikes are available at almost every station in the Netherlands, and you can unlock one with just a single tap of your public transport card. The country's dense railway network makes almost every destination easy to reach. Of course, there are exceptions. I do drive sometimes, for example at night when trains aren't running, or when I need to take a large load of rubbish to the recycling centre, or to take my cat to the vet. In those cases, I often use a shared car system. I've been using one for almost 20 years. It's quite amusing to see how that worked in the past, reserving a car on a website, then unlocking it with a physical pass. Now it's all done with a smartphone app. What hasn't changed is how you get the car key and start your journey. For trips abroad, there's almost always a train option as well. To Paris, that's an easy choice with the high-speed train. To Berlin, I also take the train. At 200 kilometers an hour, it's faster than driving. When I traveled to the Velocity conference in Leipzig, Germany, a temporary detour for the trains via my hometown made the journey even more convenient, with just one transfer in Frankfurt. And for a holiday in Vienna, the night train service was perfect. The first time I ever had a shower on a train. Such a comfortable way to travel. When there's a sea in between, flying becomes the practical option. For example, to Ireland for a conference, or to Finland, flying to Helsinki and then continuing north by night train. For trips further afield, like Australia or the United States, flying is really the only reasonable choice. And in those countries, trains are not an option. So yes, I do drive there when I need to, using rental cars. But even then I still use public transport whenever and wherever possible. So, can you live without a car? Yes, but it does require a different mindset. You have to think a bit more carefully about each trip. And often the key is combining different modes of transport. Do that and almost any destination becomes reachable.